Hello everybody. In this screencast we're going to look at this assignment which focuses on making API calls. Basically the assignment is only two fragments or two screens. The first screen you display a list of cities which you're going to retrieve by calling this API. It's a GET request. You make the GET request, you get it. And you are provided also with a skeleton app and also a Postman file which we're going to open in a little bit. Now once you pick the cities, we're going to parse it, and then you click on a city, you go here, and you're going to get the forecast for the city. The forecast for the city requires two API calls that we're going to go and discuss right now. Alright, so we don't need this anymore, or maybe we do. We'll find out in a little bit, but anyway, we are here. Let's have that open also. Here is the Postman file, and it is the weather app. Here it is. So now we need to import it. There is a zip file that's included in the GitHub repository. You unzip the zip file, and then there will be a JSON file, and you click on import. You drag and drop the file into the import. Here's that, and then you drag and drop the JSON file here, and you can replace. I already have weather app, so I can replace. Let's see, replace it, and here it is, and here is the JSON file. Fine, I don't need this JSON file anymore. But anyhow, so you see the first API call, you call it, and it gets you the list of cities. Here is the list of cities. Now we already have been given a mobile app, a mobile project that has main activity, has some fragments, cities fragments, and so on. And you see in the main activity, it already loads the cities fragment, right? So now when you run this, and you're provided also with some models, city model, forecast model, and so on. So let's have a look and see when we run it what shows up, right? But here we are. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a couple of libraries. I'm going to use mainly OKHTTP, right? So here is that OKHTTP. Here is the library, and that library has a very good documentation. And basically I need to first add the library to my project. So if you scroll down a little bit, the library is here is the implementation part. I can copy this from here, click on the Gradle script, the app, and I can just add it here. All right, here it is. So I added the OKHTTP library, right? And I can sync now. It will import the library, add it to my project, and so on. All right, so here we are in the cities fragment. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function. I'll call it, for example, void private void get cities, right? That's what I'm going to do. Whenever you call this function, it's going to get cities. All right, close this. And where is the running? Here it is, and here is the cities. Okay, good. So now to get the cities, I need to make an API call. Now is it a GET request? It's a GET request. Now, if you look at the documentation, if you scroll all the way up, there is recipes, right? And in these recipes, I just want to make an API call. So basically, to make the call, here's the client. This is all boilerplate also. So here's one, and options, enter, import the class. Now you need to make a call. So basically, here's a simple request that you're going to make. Here is the request. And similarly, I am going to import the class. It's okay, HTTP. And then I need the URL, which is cities. Here's that. Okay, here we are. And here we go. Good. And then basically here I'm going to do client dot enqueue new request, new call. Here's the request, and then enqueue new callback, and then boom, here's my callback, and so on. Okay, again, if I did not copy and paste, it's better to do it this way so that it does the correct imports and so on. e.print extract trace, so that you see if there is an error. Here we check to see if response is successful, right? And then we get the body. So I could call it body, for example. Okay, we can get the body like this. I'll do a log d, right? And here's the body. Okay, and here's my tag demo. All right, so this is how you get the response.body.string, not toString.string, right? Now, if I call this method, it should get me the cities. So basically what I'm going to do on view created. I'm going to call it here. All right, let's run it. I want to check something. Also, I want to check to see if the internet permission is added. So it needs the internet permission. It's not going to work, but let's see. Okay, we need to add the internet permission. Let's do that. Uses permission, the internet permission. and I am going to run it again. Okay, I'll wait a little bit and go here. Okay, we'll run it again. Here it is. And basically I have added the internet permission. Now when you make the call, I need to see this. Okay, where is look at? Here's look at. And I go here and say demo. Demo. And it's not showing up. So there is something. Oh, there is a problem. Internal error. Permission denied. You don't have the internet permission. This is the old. Probably this is the old one. So delete this, delete this, delete this. And what I'm going to do is maybe I can delete the app. Where is the weather app? Weather app is the weather app, and I am going to uninstall it. Here it is. Okay, and then I will run it again. Right, clear the log, and when it runs, I need to see this. Once I see it, I can progress. Right? Okay, I can move forward. Here we are. Here it is, and you see here on response, I'm getting the city. I'm getting everything I need here. Okay, good. So this is fine. Now what I would like to do is to parse. So basically I'm interested in parsing getting city, right? And the city will look something like this. There is also a model for the city, and they already gave us all this information, right? So basically I know that the city will look something like this, right? So I usually do something like this. I'll say public. We'll come back to it, right? We'll come back to this in a little bit. But inside the cities, I need to go in and get, this is a JSON object, right? This is a JSON object. The body is a JSON object. Why? Because of the curly brackets. You see here, these are curly brackets. The cities is a JSON array, right? So basically the body is going to be a JSON object, and we could call it JSON object, which is this. And now we can go in and surrounded by a try catch block. Here's the JSON body. All right, and then inside it, I am interested in cities, which is JSON array. So basically, JSON array cities, JSON array, which is the JSON object, get an array, and it's called cities. Perfect. Now for I equal to 0. So again, I did this by just typing for I, click tab, until cities array dot length. Okay. Good. And then inside each one of them, so each one is what is a JSON object, right? So basically there is a JSON object, which is the city JSON, which is the JSON array get at I. That's it, right? Now I want to take that JSON object and send it to the class to instantiate a city. So basically I'm going to create a constructor that is public city, and it receives a JSON object, right? JSON, right? It receives a JSON object, and then basically all what I will do is something like this: JSON object, which is being received, opt string, and then you give it the name. And the other one, they are all strings, and you see the name matches the name here, like lat, long, lat, state, and state, and basically that's how I'm going to get the city. All right. Okay, so we're done here with the parsing of the city. Very good. So now the city's fragment. We just all I have to do is say city equal new city, and I pass it the JSON object. Here's that. And now I have an array of cities. I should have an array list of city. We call it cities. Here's that. And then basically what I'm going to do is that when we are here, we'll say cities dot remove all, or clear to remove everything, clear. And then here we'll just say cities dot add city. All right, here we are. And then here we need to notify the adapter. To do notify the adapter, right? Okay, cool. So we'll do that in a little bit. We need to build that adapter, but that's it. That's get cities, right? Now the adapter is what? Is this an array list or a list view or what? I think it's a list view. So go back here to resources, layout, cities, and this is a list view. See, it's a list view. Or you look at attributes and it's a list view. Okay, good. So we are going to use a simple list view. In the city class, I'm going to create a toString. Where is my toString? and I'm just gonna pick the name and the state because I wanted to return the name comma state. So we're gonna return name and plus sign and plus sign. So name comma state, here it is. Alright, good. So now we're done with the city, and I know that in the cities fragment we just create an adapter. It's good. All of this is gonna happen here. Array adapter of type city adapter. Alright, I'm not gonna can I do something like this? I think I can, but I'm not gonna do it here. I'm gonna initialize it here and say adapter equals this. Here it is. So basically I'm using the simple list item 1, and then I'm do binding dot cities, which is this is the list view, right? And I'm gonna say get cities, and then here I need to run this on the main thread. So I'll say get activity dot run on UI thread new runnable. See here, runnable. Here is that, and then adapter notified it has changed, right? So Control Z adapter dot notify dataset has changed. Alright, good. So we're good here. Now if we run this, I think things are gonna happen. So let's see. Here it is. Here are the cities. Okay, good. So now when you click, we want to go to the next screen. So I'm gonna create an interface. I'll call it, for example, the cities listener. Here it is, and then I'll say on city selected or something, right? Here it is, and then we copy this, do the m listener on attach. All right, and then m listener equals, here we are. Okay, good. Now when you click on a city, we're gonna do that here to do binding dot list view dot on item click listener. Oh, sorry, set on item click listener, set on item click listener new adapter view, and here we are. And we can do something like this where we cities dot get at position. So we're good to go here with clicking on a city. Now we need to go in the main activity and implement this interface. All right, good. So here's the main activity, and we say implements the interface. Here's that. Implement the methods on city selected, and then basically this is it. Here it is. So we have the weather forecast fragment. Let's have a look quickly. We already implemented for you the new instance method, so we can go ahead and do something like this. Here we are. Add to backstack, pass it the city, so it sends the city to here. Import the class. Why it's not happy? Import it here. So yeah, we need to make it public. So where is the cities fragment? Make this guy public. Right, so now it's happy. Good. So now we're done with passing the data forward. We go to the weather forecast fragment, and we have the city. Okay, so now let's run this again, and we get the city. Basically, we just want to show the name of the city at the top here. We can do that to show that we get the city. So now we see when we click, it shows up here. Good. So now if we go to the weather forecast fragment, and basically on view created, here we do binding dot text view city name dot set text to get name plus comma get state. There it is. So basically it's going to show both the name and the state. Good. So we are here. All right, we click on Boston, and it shows Boston, and this is the weather forecast. Good. So now what we need to do is to parse the forecast. So now let's go back to the Postman. So basically we are done with getting the city. Now we need to call this API with these coordinates. The coordinates are the lat and long. So now we run it, and what we're interested in is the forecast. So the forecast is provided through another URL, which is the forecast URL, which is this one. We need to get this URL and then call this URL, right, again after getting the first one, and we'll see why it's not working, but we will try. Let's ignore this one for the time being and construct this URL. All right, good. So now we are back here. I'm gonna paste the URL here, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the cities, because this is a get request. All of them are get requests. So now I can reuse some of the stuff that we wrote before. So basically we already wrote some code for the cities fragment, right? So here is get cities or whatever we have here. I'm going to copy this stuff from here, right? And then I'm going to go to the weather fragment here, and I am going to do something like this. Here we are. All right, good. So now what I'm going to do is I need the client. I need this one. I need the client. All right, here that, and I'm going to import. Sorry, import options, enter. I need to import. I just need to wait a little bit. So need to build, and then it's going to import. Here it is that. Okay, good. Okay, 1 second. Here we are. Import class. Here it is. And private void get forecast URL, right? That's what I'm going to do. Call it, because the goal is to get the forecast URL, and I know how to build that URL, but let's build the request. Here's the request, and then the URL is built like this. Here it is, and basically this is the URL. This is the lat comma long. So basically I need the lat. So basically I'm gonna go here and plus m city dot latitude plus comma longitude. All right, so here is the URL already built. Import it, import the URL. So here is that, and then we do client dot new call. Here is the request dot enqueue new callback, and here we are. So we have the callback print tag trace. Here we do what we did here. So basically we did already all of that. I need this guy here. Same code. So basically here is the code to do this. Options, import the class. So we have the body. Now we go back and at least show it. So now if we run it, we need to call this method. So we're going to call this method on view created. Here we're going to call the method, get the URL, and run it. Okay. We don't need all of this code. Yeah, we don't need it. I'm going to remove all of this. Alright, so we click on Boston, it shows Boston, and then if we go to the logcat, it shows the whole thing that is coming in through that URL, you know, all the JSON that's coming in, which is exactly the same as this JSON. Now, something to keep in mind, we are not interested in everything inside that JSON. You see here, I'm interested in going into properties, which is a JSON object, right? This whole thing is a JSON object. So basically the body is a JSON object. So basically what I could do here is I go here. I know that the body is JSON object, so I can go here and say JSON object, JSON object equals new JSON object, and the type is the body. So basically here, and then I can surround it by try catch. Here's that. Good. So I have the JSON object that represents the body. I also need another JSON object which represents properties, right? So I do JSON object properties, and basically you just say JSON object dot get another JSON object inside it, and then I can get the URL. So string forecast URL, which is properties dot get string, and it's called forecast. So if you look here under that, under this, there is I'm interested in forecast, right? So basically that's what I'm getting here, and here is the string called forecast. So I have the string called forecast. So let's say log the, I'm just gonna print it, so and let me print it and comment out this one so that you can just see the URL. Where is that? So I get the URL. Good. All right, here we are. Click on Charlotte and go here, and the URL should be printed somewhere here. Let's see, here's the URL. Okay, here we are. Here's the URL. So this URL we need to call again. Call now. This URL represents the forecast, right? So we go here. Here's the URL. Click send, and it's not very happy. Let me close this. Don't save. It's not working, it seems, but the first one does. But it's pretty weird. We go here. Do this. Click on send. Ah, here it is. So it's working now. Good. So here it is. And what we're interested in this one is we're interested under properties. We're interested in periods. You see here, periods is an array that represents the forecast, you know, and we're not interested in context. We just want to go from here to properties, and then under that, this is another call, right? So basically we have the URL that we need to call to get the forecast, right? Which is very similar to what we are doing here. And so basically here I'll say get forecast, get city forecast, and you're gonna send me a URL, so a string URL that we're going to use, and that URL is going to go here, right? URL, and then everything else looks the same, right? So basically I am going to maybe all until properties, because it also has properties. See here we have JSON object, and then there is properties, and then under properties we want to get periods, right? So we will come to that. So now if I do this, basically I am getting the body, I'm changing it into a JSON object, going to properties, and then from there I need a JSON array. I'll call it, for example, the periods array, and basically here it is. You just say properties dot get JSON array, and then here I can do a for I, same thing for I, and this is the periods dot length, right? And then basically we'll do the same thing we did for the city, but for the forecast right here. And so basically we go back here, each period is a forecast. I'm going to copy that stuff from here. Looks something like this. Here we are, and basically it has I don't need the number, I don't need the name, so I don't need this, I don't need the end time. I can get the temperature and the temperature trend, I don't need it. Precipitation I don't need all of that stuff. I'm just removing things so that you can focus on what we need. And I need the short forecast. Perfect. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some strings. All right, so here is a string, start time, comma, temperature is not, so basically let me get temperature unit. Here is that also, comma, wind speed is a string, icon is a string, and forecast is a string. Good. So now I'll call it icon URL so that we have some meaningful name here, and then I'll have doubles for the temperature and relative humidity. All right, perfect. Here is that. Good. And then I can do getters and setters and everything for everything here. So getters and setters. Oops, sorry. Okay, here we are. Getter and setters for everything. And then similarly I need an empty constructor. Okay, select none, and I'm gonna create another constructor with let's say with this, but I'm going to just call this JSON object, call it JSON object, and basically we do the parsing. So basically if you look at the condensed JSON that we have here, where is that? And then basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the JSON. So basically I can get, for example, this dot start time, this dot start time, here is that. So basically you give me the JSON object, I can go in and get this, right? And similarly the temperature, no. So the temperature is directly the JSON object dot opt double, right? And then you give it the temperature. So that's because you see here it's here. Now similarly the temperature unit, we can capture also the temperature unit. Good. So this dot temp unit, and here is it because it's here. Now relative humidity is the one that you have to go first into the relative humidity as a JSON object, because it's a JSON object, and then inside it there's a value which is this. Okay, so we are done with that one. Okay, and then the wind speed is a string, and then the URL icon is this, and then the short forecast is this. Very straightforward, very easy to do. And we're done with the forecast. Good. So then we're done with the forecast. Go back here. What we're going to do is we say forecast forecast equal new forecast, and we send it the object, and then basically we just have an array of forecasts. We need an array lists of forecasts, lists of forecast objects. We call it, sorry, with forecasts, and we call it forecasts. Here it is. And then basically when we are here, we'll do forecasts dot remove or clear. That removes everything from it. Clear. All right, and then here we just say forecasts dot add or dot add forecast. All right, and then here we need to notify the adapter. All right, good. So that's this. Now let's build our adapter. Straightforward also. You are provided with a layout and all of that stuff, so we can easily do it. So class recycler, this is, we call it what? Forecast adapter, extends recycler view, dot adapter, and it needs a view holder. We'll come back in here, class forecast view holder, right? And it needs a constructor. Here's that. We do copy this from here, we paste it here, options, import it, and we're good. And then you have three methods that need to be implemented. Here we are. Implement the methods. Here they are. This one is this one is forecasts dot size. Here's that. And now we need to, I'll use the binding approach. So this is called, let's see, I don't remember what was the layout called. So let's see, the layout, we already provided with a layout for forecast list item. Very good. So this is forecast list item binding equals forecast list item binding, and basically you just get inflator here, get inflator parent false. Good. And then basically we are going to copy this from here, add it here, and add it here, and item binding dot get root. Okay, then this dot item binding equals item binding. All right, good. So we're good here. Very nice. And now we do a new forecast and we send it to item binding. Good. So here we are. And then here we have a method, you can call it setup UI, public void setup UI, and you're gonna send me a forecast. All right, here it is. And basically I don't need to store the forecast unless I am going to move ahead. So what I'm going to do is I need to set it up. So let's see what it looks like. It looks like there is a text here. So there is item binding dot text view date and time dot set that. Then item binding temperature, where temperature is what is the temperature comma the temperature unit. Good. And then item binding short forecast. So this is text view forecast. Here's that, right? And then item binding dot let's say humidity dot set text. So humidity, but then the humidity is a number, and we want to, or it's a string, and we want to write this at the front. Good. So get relative humidity is a double, so we'll go here and we'll do something like this and like this, and it's a percentage. So we go here and we do a percentage and we're good to go. So that's the relative humidity. The other one is the wind speed. Alright, here's the wind speed, and we'll say wind speed, and we don't need all of this. Get wind speed. Alright, here we are, and I think we're good. So let's see, we have all of these. Okay, let's try. So setup UI needs to be called from here. You have the holder dot setup UI get forecast get at position to get the forecast, and we're good. That is done. This is done here, so we can go all the way up and set up the adapter. Okay, good. So that is done. On create view, here we are. Adapter, sorry. Adapter equal to this. Recycler equal to this. I will do also recycler dot binding dot recycler view dot set layout manager new linear layout manager get context. Okay, good. Or get activity, same thing. All right, here we are, and set adapter to this, and then you set it up, and then we're going to notify the adapter somewhere here. So we'll do adapter dot notify dataset changed. Here we are. Okay, good. That's good. We never called this method. Let's call it here after you have the URL. So once we have the URL here, right, I am going to do get activity dot run on UI thread new. I'm gonna go back to the UI thread, and we're gonna call the with the forecast. We're gonna send it the forecast. Good. Forecast URL. And then here, when we want to reset the adapter, we don't do it like this. We also have to do the same way. We do get activity, activity dot run on UI thread new runnable, and here we are. Adapter not notified the test set hash. This is very important because it needs to run on the UI thread or on the main thread, right? And this block actually on response runs in the background, right? In another thread, right? All right, so we're good. I think we can try. Let's see. Run it again. Here we are. You click on, let's say, Charlotte, North Carolina, and here it is. It shows the weather, the wind speed. Things seem to be working fine. Go back, let's say Houston, and so on. Now the image, very easy. The image, we are going to use the Picasso library. So Picasso Android, here is that, and here's the Picasso library. And basically I need to import it, so it tells us here implementation Picasso and insert the latest version. I don't know what the latest version is, so I'm going to go here, click on the app, right click, and there is module somewhere here. You can see it, open module settings, and what I'm interested is in dependencies, and I'm going to add a dependency, and it's a library. I paste Picasso here and I do a search, and it tells me that this is the latest version. I click OK and I click on apply. What this does is it adds the library to here. You see here, it will appear here. Here is the Picasso library added. Good. So now why did I add Picasso? I want to show the image. There is an image that I would like to show, and you see it's only one line. Here's the line. Basically, where do I put this line? In the adapter. And this is the time when I'm going to do this. Here it is. So I'm going to import it. What's the URL? It's in the forecast. There is an icon URL. Here is that. And then what is the image view? It's in item binding dot image view. There is an image view that you want to load the that image from the URL into that image view. So run it again. Here is it. Okay. And then once it runs, we click on a city, we go there, and we should be able to see the image. Here it is, Charlotte, and here are the images that are coming in from the weather service. All right, very good. And you saw how we did it straightforward. When you parse, you have to figure out JSON object, JSON array, and then how far in the hierarchy of this JSON you need to go, and what do you need to parse. All right, so please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.